Hello chemistry students. Today we're going to talk about different ways to separate mixtures. We're going to talk about three main ways to do that. First I want you to think about what are just some common ways to separate materials. So you can use tweezers, pick things out. You can shift things around. How did you separate things when you were younger? Like if you were building a sandcastle, how did you do things? How did you separate the shells from the sand? How do you separate foods that you eat? So like how do you pick out the tomatoes in your salad? Think about how you could do those things. Okay, so in chemistry there's three main ways to separate mixtures, and we're going to talk about those today. So I want to revisit the idea of what is a mixture first of all. So think back to our notes from earlier this week. What is a mixture? What does that term mean? So yeah, a mixture is just a physical blend of any two substances. It can be reversed, most likely. It's not chemically changing anything, it's just a physical blend of two things. So the first thing we're going to talk about for how to separate mixtures is what's called distillation. I doubt we're going to do distillation in our chemistry class. It's a pretty complex process where a mixture is heated, and then the most volatile component is vaporized, and it's cooled and recollected. Does anybody know what volatile means? Volatile means it has the highest boiling point. It's the highest chance of not flammability, but like vaporizing into the air. So the most volatile component is going to vaporize. So the thing that has the lowest vaporizing point is going to turn from a liquid into a gas, and it's going to go up into this chamber. So as you can see in this picture over here, let me grab my little drawing tool. So we're going to heat this liquid and it's going to vaporize up. Okay, and as it vaporizes up, the thermometer is capping it here and it's going to shoot the gas into what's called a condenser. So this condenser is going to leak water out. This condenser has very certain material in it. And it's going to slowly go through this condenser where water is going to be cooling it. So there's generally like a pipe attached here where cool water goes in and it carries around here, and the water is like going around the outside of the inner tubing, and then hotter water goes out. So it keeps it cold. So that vapor is going to go into this tube. It's going to become cooler because of the cold water surrounding it. And then just like condensation in a cloud, or when things condense, it rains, it'll slowly turn back into a liquid form and drip into the other flask. So we're separating these two mixtures based on distillation. Another much more common type of separation is filtration, which you've probably done before. When you were building sandcastles as a little kid, you had the little filter that you'd shake to get all the rocks out of the sand, to get the pure sand. So you're pouring your mixture through a mesh filter or some sort of filter of some sort to leave a solid behind. And you generally use filtration when you have both a solid and a liquid in your filter, or in your mixture, sorry. So if we have sand and water here, if you pour it through a filter, the sand of course is going to get stuck, which is called the residue, and the filtrate, or the water, is going to go all the way through, so that's what we filtered out. And then lastly, we're going to talk about chromatography. So chromatography might be a little bit of a new idea for a lot of you. Chromatography is not super high tech by any means, but it's just very different. So it contains a stationary phase and also a mobile phase. And what that means is the stationary phase, there's generally some sort of solid involved, whereas the mobile phase is a liquid or a gas. So the mobile phase is going to move much quicker than the solid phase. So basically what chromatography is, it's just the separation of a mixture, and by passing it through a solution, passing it through solution of a medium in which the components are going to move at different rates. So basically you're going to put something in something else and it's going to pull things out. Things are going to move faster or slower based upon what medium they're in. So I have here just a video of what paper chromatography is. Paper chromatography is pretty easy. As you can see, they have a little tiny amount of liquid at the bottom. That's the medium we're going to be running the paper through, and this is just a strip of chromatography paper. And they're using ink on this, so they just put some pen line here, and you barely touch the bottom of the paper to it. So the ink isn't being touched, only the bottom of the paper. So as you can see here, if I go ahead and play this, you can see that the water's slowly going up the paper and it's bringing the ink upwards. So you can see that some ink is traveling further than the other. And this is going really fast. It does not happen this fast. It generally takes quite a bit of time. So you can see what type of ink is able to travel furthest. So clearly the yellow colors don't go as far, whereas the reds and the purples are more easily traveling. Alrighty. So that is all our notes on filtration. And not filtration, separating methods. So you do have a little online lab type activity you're going to be doing today, so make sure you check out the next video for an explanation on that. Thank you.